This will be our final stop in Arpeggio World. We just have a couple of more types of arpeggios to look at. So in the first video where we covered arpeggios, we dealt with those that were based on three-note chords. Then we tackled arpeggios based on four-note chords, namely dominant seventh chords. Now here we're going to look at diminished chord arpeggios as well as those based on augmented chords. As I've done in the past two videos, I'll explain how these arpeggios are constructed, and then I'll play through them slowly so that you can follow along. You can also see my suggested fingering. The fingering that I use may be slightly different than that which appears in the music that you'll be seeing. Now remember, as you play through these exercises, do not strain yourself. Keep your entire upper body as relaxed as possible and make sure that you maintain good posture. Don't let yourself slump at the keyboard. Sit up straight and stay relaxed. All right, we're going to play through these diminished chord arpeggios. One of the things you might notice about playing diminished chord arpeggios is they are actually, in some ways, one of the easiest arpeggios to play because the notes are all an equal distance apart from each other. So pay careful attention to the fingering. We're going to play, as we have done in the previous arpeggio videos, one hand at a time. And I'll go slow enough so that you can play along. Now, this is a continuous series of arpeggios, and one of the things you might remember about arpeggios is that there are really only three different arpeggios. Or actually, I should say, only three different diminished chords. There's this diminished chord, this one here, and then this one. But when you get to this one, you'll notice it's the same four notes as this one. So we're going to play each arpeggio, and sometimes we'll be starting on different notes. And so the fingering will be a little bit different. So follow along very carefully and you'll see the pattern here. Now, you don't have to play this arpeggio exercise all the way through right at the beginning. You can do it a little bit at a time. So for example, you could just play this much. Now, I'm probably going too fast there, but that's all you need to do at first, and then you can start on this note. And then this note. And so on. So I'm going to play through this entire diminished chord arpeggio exercise, but you can break it up into little pieces for your own practice sessions. So ready? Here we go. I'm going to go very slowly so that you can follow along and watch the fingering very carefully. Now we repeat. Then start on D. Fourth comes across, and then the thumb goes under. Now we're going to do the same thing with the left hand. Now we're going to do a second set of diminished chord arpeggios starting on C sharp. And you'll notice here that instead of starting on 1, we're going to keep our thumb off the black keys and start on 2, then go to 1. And then here you've got your thumb crossing under your 4th finger. So here we go. Second set of diminished chord arpeggios starting on C sharp. Now let's do the left hand. Notice here we're starting with the 3rd finger. And it goes 3, 2, 1, and then the 4th finger crosses over. Here we go. That should give your hands a pretty good workout. Once again, take it just a little bit at a time. Let's finish off now by looking at arpeggios built on augmented chords. You might remember from our study of augmented chords that there are really only 4 different types. If we start by building an augmented chord on C, we end up with these 3 notes, C, E, G sharp. If we build one on D flat or C sharp, we end up with C sharp, F, A, or D flat, F, A, D, F sharp, A sharp, E flat, G, and B. But then if we start here on E, we end up with the same 3 notes as we began with. They're just stacked differently. So what we're going to do is start here and play the arpeggio, and we're going to start on each of the 3 notes and go up 2 octaves and back down. Okay, so pay attention to the fingering, and here we go. We're going to start with the arpeggio built on C, the augmented chord arpeggio, and then D flat, D, and E flat. Now you'll notice that occasionally my fingering is different from the fingering that is given to you here. So you want to find the fingering that best fits your fingers, best fits your hands. You may have littler hands like mine, or you may have big, long-fingered hands. The fingering is not set in stone, but you do want to follow it pretty closely. Now let's do the left hand. Thank you for watching and for playing along. I hope you found this helpful. I know that these type of exercises can be a challenge, but I encourage you to stick with it, and you will see results. Remember also, you don't have to do all of these exercises every day. That would take way too long. So just 10 to 15 minutes a day spent with a few selected exercises, not only from this video, but from all the past technical exercises on the piano technique train. Just a few of those exercises each day will benefit you greatly. Just work through one or two each time you sit down to practice. It helps get your fingers warmed up. I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That helps the channel a lot. Also, if you'd like to support my work on Patreon, the link to my Patreon page is at the top of the description. My sincere thanks to all of you who have subscribed to the channel and to my patrons. Thank you again, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.